the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, said during his opening remarks at the G20 summit in Riyadh, G20 leaders must work toward fair and affordable access to COVID-19 vaccines. The G20 leaders are holding a two-day virtual meeting via video conference due to the pandemic under the chairmanship of Saudi Arabia, which holds the rotating presidency of the G20 until the end of November. The king noted that the 20 largest global economies had so far contributed $21 billion to confronting COVID-19 and took extraordinary measures to support the economies by injecting over $11 trillion to support individuals and businesses. The incoming Biden administration in Washington is set to herald a new chapter of trade ties between the U.S. and the Gulf, as well as with the region's largest economy. In recent days, many analysts have speculated over the differences between how a Biden and Trump-led U.S. will interact with the oil-exporting Gulf states in Saudi Arabia, the dominant regional economy. Yet, while different administrations have had different policy priorities in the region, the overall relationship has remained strong over the decades. Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard said it launched a heavy warship capable of carrying helicopters, drones and missile launchers amid ongoing tensions with the US. It also carried 4 small fast boats, the kind the Guard routinely uses in the Arabian Gulf. The Guard said the ship has a length of 150 meters by comparison. A US Nimitz-class aircraft carrier has a length of 332 meters. The Guard ship does not have a runway, but includes a landing pad for a helicopter. Lebanon's army chief said that there would be no compromise on the country's sovereignty and maritime border negotiations with Israel. President Michel Aoun on Thursday specified Lebanon's starting point for demarcating its sea border with Israel under US-mediated talks, and the first public confirmation of a stance sources say actually increases the size of the disputed area. Israel and Lebanon launched the negotiations last month, with delegations from the longtime foes convening at a UN base to try to agree on the unresolved border that has held up hydrocarbon exploration in the potentially gas-rich area. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said a substantial part of the Spanish population will be vaccinated against COVID-19 in the first half of 2021. Sanchez said the government will unveil a coronavirus vaccination plan next Tuesday. He did not give any details. The government has created a special committee to establish who would be vaccinated first when a vaccine is available. France's Minister of Foreign Affairs Jean-Yves Le Drian told Mohammed bin Abdel Karim Al Issa, Secretary General of the Muslim World League, his country respects Islam and that French Muslims are a part of the country. The two were speaking in a telephone conversation in which they also discussed a number of other issues of common interests on Thursday. French President Emmanuel Macron was recently accused in the British press of stigmatizing French Muslims for electoral purposes and of fostering a climate of fear and suspicion toward them. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called on G20 leaders, whose summit will be hosted by Saudi Arabia this weekend, to be bold in pandemic response. The UN chief said the world must ensure recovery from the crisis, which will be inclusive, sustainable and in line with global climate goals. According to Guterres, some $28 billion more is needed, including $4.2 billion before the end of the year. Turkey's central bank hiked interest rates on Thursday to support its battered currency. The regulator raised its benchmark rate to 15% from 10.25% during its Monetary Policy Committee meeting. The move is seen as a show of willingness to ensure price stability under the bank's new governor, former Finance Minister Nasi Akbal. With COVID-19 cases on the rise in the Middle East following weeks of decline, the top UN official in the region has welcomed the Palestinian Authority's decision to resume coordination with Israel. In a briefing to the Security Council on Wednesday, US Special Coordinator Nikolay Mladenov told ambassadors that Gaza remains the most pressing concern, as the territory is ill-equipped to face a major spike in cases due to poor living conditions and a fragile healthcare system. He warned that any major outbreak of the disease would have a catastrophic impact on the 2 million Palestinians living there, who are already affected by severe movement and access restrictions, cycles of violent escalation, and years of the humanitarian crisis. More than 55.93 million people have been reported to be infected by the novel coronavirus globally, and 1,343,584 have died, with 248,574 deaths and over 11 million confirmed cases. The United States tops the list of 20 countries with the highest recorded infections and deaths in the world. Infections have been reported in more than 210 countries and territories since the first cases were identified in China in December of 2019. Phase 2 trials of Oxford University's COVID-19 vaccine in healthy older adults have found it is safe and provokes an immune response. The university confirmed that the candidate vaccine it is developing with AstraZeneca showed similar safety and immunogenicity results in healthy older people to those seen in adults aged 18 to 55 years. Older people are at a disproportionate risk of severe COVID-19 disease, so it is essential that any vaccine adopted for use is effective in this group. The UN Refugee Agency said refugee resettlement numbers will be at a record low this year, with only 15,425 people resettled in the first 9 months of 2020, compared to more than 50,000 in 2019. In 2016, resettlement numbers globally stood at 126,291 according to agency figures. Syrians have been resettled in the biggest numbers so far this year at 41%, followed by refugees from the Democratic Republic of the Congo at 16%. The World Health Organization said that Europe made up almost half of the world's 4 million new coronavirus cases last week. It had the newest cases of any continent at 46% of the worldwide total. According to the WHO, Europe's COVID-19 tally declined by 10% compared to the previous week, following the strengthening of public health and social measures in the region. Turkish authorities have issued detention warrants for 101 people, including lawyers and doctors, as part of what they call terrorism-related investigations. Authorities launched the operation from the southeastern province of Diyarbakir and sought suspects across 4 cities and a total of 106 residential addresses. The authorities found guns, documents, and digital material at the suspects' addresses.